It's a beautiful bacon day, Cookie Crusaders. Today we're going to be covering the new arena meta that's coming out. It's not necessarily what everyone's running, but I'm sure it will be at least the more or less dominant one soon. There is a couple other teams that seem more popular, but I'm covering this one because it seems to handle even those teams in most situations. So the first one, obviously, if you don't have Black Pearl, this is going to be a tough team to make. Yes, you may get her over time just because of all the events happening, so there's chances for you to get her. It's not that you need her at a high star level. Obviously, the higher stars make it easier for the team to run, but you can run her at a 0-star option. The two main pieces here are actually going to be Parfait and Crunchy Chip. The reasons being is that Crunchy is going to be handling a lot of your front lines with extra bodies, as well as also offering a protective layer because of all the speed teams, all the burst damage teams. You need some extra protection. And you need skill positioning, which is going to matter too. Secondly, the reason we're actually running Parfait is because of the debuff resistance. There's a lot of teams right now between Caramel Arrow, Affogato, Eclair, just so many different cookies right now running debuffs on the enemy team, and because of that, it's creating this situation where you're either stunned too long, or you're knocked back, or you're silenced by Espresso. So there's so many different things preventing most teams from synergizing and doing what they need to do to actually stay alive in the arena right now for that reason. So Parfait is actually kind of making a comeback for that reason. Even though there has been debuffs in the previous arenas, the main thing is that this is becoming a little bit more prevalent now because of the new setups. So we're going to go through that. And as you can see, we're running cooldowns on 3 of our cookies, and we're running Searing on Vampire and Criticals on Crunchy. If you do not have a good Cacao Monument and the critical upgrades in the lab, please run Searing or Almonds instead. Otherwise, you will be wasting opportunity and potential. So, this team, of course, like all teams, is not going to work against everybody. But we're just going to run it into the arena and show you what we get and what our results are. And we can discuss why we win / why we lose against certain teams. And that just the reason is because there is no perfect team right now. There's a counter to everything, so just always keep that in mind when you're running things. So as you can see, the feather went to Crunchy here because we're fighting summoners, so that front line is being heavily attacked. What's helping us here is that Black Pearl is doing that persistent damage over time to the entire enemy field and pulling them back so that it gives us a little bit of chance for Fancy or Fancy Cookie, however you want to pronounce it, to give that healing and that buff to our Vampire. Vampire is then one-shotting the back line and helping us clear out the enemies without them having too much healing. So if we go into the analytics here, Black Pearl dealing 8.3 million damage, plenty of damage. I'm sure Espresso probably does equal, if not more, against this team, and it is another viable counter. But you can see overall our damage was just huge because of how much was going on. Now if we look at the healing, you can see that Parfait is actually outdoing Cream Unicorn. So one thing I'm feeling with Cream Unicorn, still one of my favorite healers, without a doubt, but Cream Unicorn, if the skill is cast too early, then it's not going to work because there's no damage done to the cookies, so there's nothing to heal. Yes, you get the damage resistance and the critical resistance, but it's not really doing much. And if it's cast too late, Cream Unicorn won't be able to heal enough to keep up with the requirement of healing all the cookies. So Parfait has that persistent and consistent healing space and time, and just it blends really well. So that's why I'm running Parfait for those 2 reasons, is because you can run Cream Unicorn, and I was running Cream Unicorn, and it works because you get those damage resistance and those critical resistance, but that debuff resistance is honestly, in my opinion, more important, and that consistent healing does really well so that you're not waiting for it to be a crit heal out of nowhere. So that's an important thing too. So as you can see, this time we lost Parfait first. Not surprising because her health is low. We don't have a lot of damage resistance on her kit because of the toppings that we have available. And it looks like we're probably not going to be able to take this win this time. And so we'll analyze what's going on and what their team was to give them the advantage to take our team out. So we'll discuss that as soon as Vampire fades out here, which should be pretty soon. We did put up a good fight, but we did not end up being able to take the win overall. So let's go ahead and look at that. So they had Black Pearl themselves and Espresso, and that was really the reason right there. So we ran a double tank, they ran a double tank, but we ran a assassin backline and one AoE. They ran 2 AoEs. And so that's what I've been finding, is that this team is a little bit weak to double AoE unless you have great substats on your toppings. I don't, sadly, so I can't really demonstrate that. But the double AoE seems to be doing a pretty good job against this team. Other than that, it's not doing too terribly. Now, what you can do is, if you know you're about to fight a double AoE team, like you see Espresso and you see Black Pearl, or you see one of them and you have a really good anticipation based on their power level that they are running another double AoE, take out Vampire, put in Espresso, put in Latte, put in just anyone like Clouded, any Sea Fairy, maybe even Frost Queen. Put in that other double AoE to fight back a mirror match, and when you're running Parfait with the debuff resistance, you should be able to keep up. So, let's keep going. Sorry if you hear the dog in the background. We have a puppy dog, so that is that's a new development. So, we're going to go ahead and do that right now. Looks like we'll probably be fighting a double AoE here, and Espresso's going to be probably the best decision in this instance, so we're going to just change out just for this battle. And they're rank 177. Okay, they're running triple AoE here. So we're hoping that our double tank can save us, but it's going to be up to our AoEs to be able to push it forward. So we'll see if we can actually end up doing that, because we're not running triple AoE like they are. And as you can see, it just pushed through. So that's the other meta team that's super popular, triple AoE. It's great. It is really great. I'm not going to say that it's a bad team, because it is a good team. The problem with it is that it's very susceptible to burst teams. And when I was using it, Sea Fairy, Espresso, Black Pearl, it was having a lot of issues with the meta team from last season, which was the Affogato, Eclair, Caramel Arrow Speed team. That team just destroys that team. It has no chance. And even like a 4-tank team still gives it too much of an issue. So that team is very counterable by teams that were previous metas, which means people have been previously building them. And so they're already attuned and able to counter these teams. It's a great defense team. Honestly, put that enemy team that you see right there as your defense team and run the team that we're running as an attack team. You should be able to win a lot of battles between the arena if you go and do that. So we're going to jump back in. We're going to put Vampire back. And we're going to fight this one more battle and just see how the results go. As you can see, they also have Vampire. And they have Purple EM. So they have double tank too. And Purple EM's really good because of the magic candy. But we do have a lot of good synergies going between that debuff resistance, between the consistent healing, between the AoE damage from Black Pearl, the buffs. All does a pretty good job. The magic candies do present a pretty powerful issue against most teams. I've said that before. As you can see here, they've got Yam, Espresso, and Vampire. It's still pretty hard to line up against teams like that that are running full magic candies. And this is someone who's rank 231. So they have the minimum of 2-star ascended cookie, and they have everyone else pretty high, which means that they're likely running very high level magic candies too. So we have to assume that their power level is pretty strong. So it's a good team. There's nothing to doubt it or flaunt against it. Can we beat them if we had better substats on our toppings? There's chances, yes. But 3 magic candies, still a pretty tough team to fight against. So that's still something that you gotta watch out for and be ready for. Probably switch out to summoners. If you use summoners against that team, better chances. Would we have known that they had that team? Not really, because it looks like the current meta team that's going around anyway. So that's a good way that they hid that team. Very well done on their part. So I hope that this video is helpful for you guys. If you have questions or concerns, you're just not sure if you want to build this team, if you don't feel that it's strong enough and that there's a better variant that's still similar to this, like without changing 3 or 4 cookies, because then you're just running a whole different team, I'd love that feedback. But it is really doing a good job overall, and it's handling quite a lot of the arena. I mean, I've already been able to get pretty far in the arena season so far just using that team and pushing through quite a lot of enemies that aren't necessarily lower rank. So either way, I would love your feedback as always. I hope this video is helpful for you and that you are able to have a good season in arena, and I appreciate you for stopping by, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.